believe your quality of life is better today than it was in 2019? There's a new poll out that says most Americans say absolutely not. The CBS News poll showing 46% of Americans say their standard of living is not just worse than it was 4 years ago, it's worse than their parents'. Similarly, a NewsNation poll showing half of those surveyed say they are worse off financially this year than last year. NewsNation political contributors Chris Hahn and Mick Mulvaney, who served as director of the Office of Management and Budget, to discuss just how our nation's financial status could impact the presidential election, because that's coming up in less than a year. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Chris, I'm going to start with you. What do you think this is going to do for President Biden and President Trump's chances, should they be the nominees, in terms of the election?
Well, 2 points. First, what really matters is how people feel right before the election. I always put the date at around October 20th. How are people feeling about the economy then? If they still feel this way about the economy, Joe Biden's going to have a very difficult time winning an election, with one exception. We always point to 2019. Donald Trump was president in 2020, and that was a very bad year for a lot of Americans. People died, the economy sank, and trillions of dollars were added to the national debt by Trump. And Joe Biden has to make a case that that was bad for America, and that has contributed to where we're at right now. So I think that's a main factor that needs to be considered.
But in terms of the numbers, and Mick, I'm going to ask you if you think that we have that much time. Do we have time to wait until October of next year to really get an indicator of where people are? According to this polling, in a hypothetical matchup, 47 to 43%, President Trump has a better rating on the economy among these polled.
Yeah, Chris is right about a couple of things. It's not how people really are, it's how they feel that they are. And that October date is probably about right. I always laugh when Congress tries to do things in September that they think will help them in November in elections, and that's just not how it works. So if those numbers that you just saw on the screen continue through October of next year, it'll be very, very difficult for Biden to sort of make the case that people are better off. Go back to what Reagan ran on 40 years ago. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? If the answer is no, the incumbent tends to lose. And again, it's not the reality, it's how people feel. Biden is the uncomfortable position of having to convince people that they're better off than they feel they are, and that is really difficult to do.
But in terms of the economy combined with, Chris, you mentioned it, the fact that in 2020 it was a horrendous year. It was an unprecedented time. We had a global pandemic to deal with. Now we have some other issues. We have conflicts in foreign countries that the U.S. is very much invested in terms of defending our ally Israel, in terms of defending Ukraine. We also have the border to deal with. So when it comes to this poll, voters are saying that President Trump is better than Biden to secure the border by 30 percentage points, to tame inflation by 21, and build the economy by 17 points. So he's leading when compared to the current president, President Biden. Do you believe that it's the confluence, I guess, of all of these factors that's going to weigh the most on voters' minds, how they feel, but also how they feel about these global issues?
Confluence is a very difficult word for Monday morning at 7 a.m., Andrew. Just want to make that very clear.
Dictionary.com.
Yes. Look, Trump has always scored better on the border. I don't think that's a factor in swing voters. I think how they feel about the economy. And again, Joe Biden cannot tell them that the economy's doing great. They've got to feel it. I mean, all the numbers say the economy's improving. It's been improving month over month over month. But people don't feel it. It means nothing to Joe Biden. So what happens between now and then? Remember, we've got a long time to go. 11 months is a lifetime in politics. It's actually almost 12 months. It's a lifetime in politics right now. Joe Biden's got a chance to see things improve. People could start feeling that for themselves between now and then. If they don't, that's an issue. And remember, there's also going to be a campaign that happens between now and then that Joe Biden has not yet embarked on fully. And that campaign is going to be brutal in attacking Donald Trump. We see things like choice, which will be rising to the top, especially when you see what's going on in Texas with that woman who could die from her pregnancy, and you've got Ken Paxton holding her back. That's going to be on top of mind for a lot of voters as well. So we don't really know today, on December 11th, how things are going to be looking to voters in late October, early November when they start to vote.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.